Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everyone, and wherever you are, and very warm welcome to each one of you joining us from across South Asia and across the world on behalf of South Asia Research Institute for Minorities. My name is Furqan Ahmed, and I'm absolutely delighted to extend heartfelt greetings to all participants gathered here for this international webinar titled "On From Tolerance to Transformation: Rethinking Diversity and Justice in South Asia." Today's event marks a significant step in our collective reflection on the idea of tolerance, which is not merely as coexistence, but as a powerful instrument of social transformation rooted in justice, empathy, and equality. Uh, Once again, I have an absolute honor to guide you through today's session, which is an afternoon and a meaningful dialogue and scholarship and shared vision to have a more inclusive South Asian region. So to begin with, I'm going to give us a slight introduction of what we do. South Asia Research Institute for Minorities is a regional research and advocacy institution which is committing to defending the rights of marginalized and minority communities across South Asia and beyond. Through rigorous research, we produce annual reports, international dialogues like these. We also have a research journal. We will be launching our second edition of our research journal. SARIM also continues to promote a culture of constructive engagement, as we are doing it right now, amplifying voices that often go unheard. So, as I said, South Asia is a region which is diverse as ours, and it is known for its cultural, linguistic, and religious dimensions. The principle of tolerance has long been seen as a foundation of peace. Yet the rising tide of polarization, autocratization, democratic backsliding, and systematic exclusion reminds us that tolerance alone is not enough. That the call today is to transform. The theme also reimagine our societies through inclusion, equality, and justice for all. And that precisely is the spirit of behind today's theme today. So without further ado, we are truly joined by esteemed panelists. I would request our first distinguished speaker, Dr. Eijaz Ahmad. Professor Dr. Rana Eijaz Ahmad is a professor and the chairman of Department of Political Science at the University of Punjab in Pakistan. He has over 20 years of academic and research experience. Dr. Ahmad has taught and published widely in areas such as international political economy, terrorism, counterterrorism, and South Asian politics. He has also presented internationally, be it in Singapore, in US, in Iran, and has contributed to national dialogue and democracy on globalization and security. We are also joined by Maung Solaiman Shah, Dr. Sanghamitra. I'll follow speaker wise introduction once I'm done with Dr. Eijaz Ahmad's insights. So, sir, thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. So I'll start with you, and then we'll follow the proceedings. Yes, Professor Dr. Rana, you can go ahead with your insights.
Well, as far as the tolerance is concerned, you know that as you mentioned earlier, that regarding South Asia especially, I would say that tolerance as a word, we may say it's no longer enough. Especially in the context of South Asia. And when we talk about diversity, the word we often hear is tolerance, you know. But tolerance simply means putting up with difference and not truly embracing it. In South Asia, tolerance has too often meant that it is about all peaceful coexistence without equality. And transformation, on the other hand, is about re-imaging, I would say, relationships of power and privilege. It's about justice, not, charity. We must know from enduring difference to empowering difference. I hope that you people, they can hear me quite loud and clear. Is that right? So my point is that, especially in the perspective of South Asia, we need to understand that tolerance is obviously a word that now used as a cliche. It means that overuse of any word that lost its original meanings. That how come that we can say that if there are neighboring nations which are more powerful, are more economically strong, and we are not, it doesn't mean that we need to have any conflict with them on this way, that because they are powerful, so we need to have a conflict. We need to, improve ourselves in a way that we could come closer to them. That we could, have that type of relationship with other neighboring countries, that we could have an existence not only in the basis of peaceful coexistence, but on the basis of that we believe in peace and tolerance, that we have to live in this region with more passion, with more sentiment of brotherhood, instead of any rivalry or any kind of animosity that may harm the whole region. So what I understand so far, that this region is comparatively to other continents is better as far as tolerance is concerned, in a sense, especially when I talk about leadership in the perspective of Pakistan, India. Especially in the perspective of Pakistan, you could see that the leaders are looting everything from Pakistan, but still people are tolerant enough, and they are not raising any voice against that. I would say monopoly of few elite people who are capturing all the economic resources, and they are quite peaceful. They are not making as such protests. Although you may say that it is a shamelessness on the part of the people, that if they are not waking up, they are not aware of their fundamental rights and not talking against it. So it is not a positive or healthy example of tolerance, but it may be considered that it is a cowardness on the part of people. But what I understand, that it is to an extent a tolerance, because inflation is at its peak in Pakistan, unemployment is there, red tapeism is there, no rule of law, no transparency, no accountability, but still people believe in that we are evolving, and 78 years in the history of nations are not enough to say that such and such country has become so mature in understanding, the socio-political and economic growth. But I understand that Pakistan is really doing good job in its first 78 years. It is, but I understand that it is a good example of tolerance.
Thank you so much, Professor Rana Eijaz Ahmad, for bringing in your insights and providing the comparative analysis. You said it right, that tolerance has just now become a cliche, right? So we need to be more inclusive in a society, and we need to bring more space to people who are facing issues of such as hate and then crime perpetrated against them. So thank you so much, sir. And then moving forward, I would turn my attention from Pakistan to India. I would be requesting Dr. Sanghamitra Mallick, who is a postdoctoral researcher, and she's a research associate at BITS Pilani from Birla campus. She is also working on ICCSR project, funded project. She holds a PhD in International Political Science, and from Pondicherry University, where her research focus on China's Belt and Road Initiative and its geopolitical implications on the in the Indian Ocean region. She's also has served as a chair for SKI Oceania Student Research Committee of International Association of Political Science Students, and she's also a colleague from IPSA C26 Human Rights. So over to you, Sanghamitra.
Thank you so much, Furqan, for this warm introduction, and thank you so much, SARIM, for conducting such interactive and nice webinar. The topic is about from tolerance to transformation, rethinking diversity and justice in South Asia. So basically, as you already explained, how South Asia is the region with a diverse culture, ethnicity, and different religion. So uh, due to this modernization and globalization and industrial revolution, and this fourth industrial revolution, this AI and all, this diverse society become more complex. So in this diverse, I'm sorry, in this diverse society, uh, people are staying with coexistence, but it's still not free from chaos, violence, and discrimination and elimination. So to maintain that peace and tranquility uh, in this society, we need tolerance, as well as uh, judicial action and law implementation in a effective way, so that everybody can stay peacefully. So since I'm not going to talk much about all the like South Asian countries, basically I'll focus on the Indian perspective. Uh, like India is a country with 1.4 billion population and belongs to like diverse religion, culture, and ethnicity. Around 22 language actually is the official language of India. It's enshrined in Indian Constitution, and around 1,600 languages and 19,500 around mother tongue people speak. You can imagine how much diverse India is. Along with 28 states and 8 union territories, within the 28 states, they have different cultures, they have different ethnicity, they have different food culture, festivals. So you can imagine like how diverse India is. Everybody how diverse India is. So but this society is not free from inequality or violence or discrimination and exclusion. Although Indian Constitution enshrined or the value like the value as democracy and equality and secularism, all these are like the secularism basically these are mentioned in the preamble of the Indian Constitution. If we focus the Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, that is right to freedom and speech and expression. But in actually where it is, the question is. Uh, this is a big question. If anyone opens their mouth in the sense like in a critic manner uh, about the unjust system of the society or of the government or uh, the state play as a role to capture them and try to stop their opinion or mouth. I can tell like in that way. So presently we can take the example of Sonam Wangchu. He's an Indian activist, environmentalist, and innovator and educational reformer also. So, but what is the state is doing with that? Where is the right to freedom of speech and expression? So here, how the state is playing role to one side, the constitution is providing that right to freedom and speech and expression, but how the state playing role in this scenario. Coming to, I'll take two more article as Article 14 and 21 of the Indian Constitution. Article 14 guarantees equality before law, and Article 21 guarantees protection of life and personal liberty. But in practice, in such things, like that Article 14 saying about equality before law and prohibits discrimination. But in actually, we take the example of this caste-based discrimination in the Indian society. It continuously persists. Take the example of Hathras and Unnao cases. I already in the last talk I have explained how this caste discrimination towards the women. This is the double-edged sword for this marginalized women. So uh, like there are a lot of underreported cases where Dalit community even face discrimination and humiliation in their everyday life, but they don't have chance to come and fight and report all these things. So it's not about only caste discrimination, even the gender inequality and discrimination every day, female even used to face. So not only discrimination in the violence also they used to face. So the question is, do they live the equal life? Do they have the access to the system? Do they have the economic opportunity to raise their voice? Or even till these communities are fighting for their basic necessities? The question the question is why they don't have such access to this legal aid or keeping their voice. The root cause we can take is as a problem as the caste structure or hierarchical system of this society, where marginalized community has no privilege to access such opportunity and keep their voice. Even affirmative actions are there to, but has not dismantled this grip of grief and somehow it has empowered the marginalized community in a certain level. But if we take the example of the report of World Report 2025, around 5,000 caste atrocities caused in every year. So here we can see how this exclusion is happening everyday life as well as in educational institutions, how teachers they used to sideline the students. Coming to the value of Indian Constitution as a secularism. Indian Constitution and preamble mentioned secularism, but India is basically, as you all know, as a majoritarian Hindu society. So although there is coexistence of religion, but there is not, but again, that society is not completely free from religious conflict or chaos. Like some group, they used to demand also to remove or withdraw this secular term or secular word from the Indian constitutions. Uh, as everybody know how the history even evidence, where is the majoritarian religion or majoritarian rule is there, there is minority used to face troubles or problems or discriminations. Uh, Take the example of Buddhist or maybe the Muslims, maybe the Christians. All these face discrimination against in opposite to this majoritarian rulers. So in India, you take the example of like CAA as Citizenship Amendment Act, as critic as called as uh, it's against anti-minority laws, and it's deteriorating human rights. So in this polarized world, where sometimes online content also, like these majoritarian people or those who are majority in number as a religion or as a category, how they use online platform to manipulate their agenda and suppress other minority and marginalized. So again, in this globalized world, and we cannot leave this platform even online. So we have to sustain through all these things, and continuing with this Indian like diverse culture and faith, we have to live together. So therefore, we have to establish a tolerance and harmony and brotherhood among ourselves uh, to continuously to stay in a peace and in peace and in a mutual respect ways. As you know, every person has their own belief, faith, and ideas, and their own thoughts. So tolerance is an essential aspect for healthy society. One should respect others' culture, religion, and caste, creed, color. So showing tolerance, especially to the people of the minority communities, as they are the who marginalized and excluded on the basis of their caste, creed, and color, we need to have move beyond tolerance with respect to understand the humanity, where we are giving to uh, a humble call to all the civil society, those who can maintain harmony and tolerance for the better society and for the better future. So tolerance is very much necessary in this time to maintain peace and tranquility. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Dr. Malik, for your insights. And you said it, you highlighted few, not few, like many, cases and many examples from within India and how it is transforming itself towards a majoritarian country, which was supposed to thrive on its democratic norms. And I hope the political system that does these, brings these. Amendments and bring these anti-minority clauses must not forget that you're supposed to thrive on your democratic norms. You must not forget your basic principles of coming up to the terms. So from India, I would now be focusing our attention to Bangladesh, where Mr. Maung Solaiman Shah. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. Mr. Shah is an award-winning Rohingya human rights defender. He's a writer and humanitarian leader dedicated to empowering displaced and marginalized communities through youth-led action and education. As a founder, he's also founder of executive coordinator for Youth-Led Initiative, which is YLI. He directs transformative programs that equip refugees, youth with leadership, digital knowledge, and human rights skills, advancing inclusion and employability across borders. He also advocates through storytelling and digital media to amplify voices of Rohingya community and promote global accountability. So over to you, Mr. Shah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all joining with me, and thank you so much, SARIM, for inviting me. It is a chance for me to share how I have lived experience on this theme. Based on your title, from tolerance to transformations, rethinking diversity, and justice in South Asia. Let me clearly say, tolerance. Tolerance is I hope everyone know about the community Rohingya. This what's come from a historic community that has long lived and exist in Arakan and Rohang, newly named as Rakhine. But when it comes about tolerance, the community itself have been tolerating the discriminations, crimes, genocidal campaigns, and others, all against this community for over the past decades and centuries. But how I and our team as a Rohingya are transforming this into and rethinking this for justice and amplifying our voice. That is, when it comes for a community to tolerate a crime, discrimination, and for long, it has become a habitual daily life activities to them. In the same way to us. When first of all, let me connect as since following the genocidal campaign on Rohingya in 2017, we moved for refuge to Bangladesh. But when we moved to Bangladesh, Bangladeshi people has welcomed us with warm greeting, and we thank them for that. But when it comes to their mindset, they directly hate and spread hatred speech against us. So for this, we must transform it through a social cohesive action, dialogues, and discussion. In the same way, writing awareness, social cohesive articles, research on social cohesive and bonding connection between minorities and communities. In the same way, when it comes about India, the government authorities use the people and the public people for their personal interest of the government, just to stay on their power. So when in the meantime, we the public people must understand that it is not, they are not giving us they are just spreading hate and hate speech toward between communities. History has been written in the same way, and we can see it that in India most minority are Hindu. So when it comes to government spread full hate against between two communities just to stay on their power. And the others minorities, same in others. As I have less studied on Pakistan, I don't know about it, but to transform to justice, we must come to sport empowerment, human rights empowerment. Everyone must know about the ethic principles of human right and child right. In the same way, when we must shift the people, the people of South Asia must shift our mind to in a positive way that we can see every community as our brothers, as our Aryan people, countries people, so that we can achieve peace. But when it comes to justice, many people cannot tolerate. As we cannot tolerate, but we need to tolerate for it. Justice is not given, but justice can be achieved through sustainable advocacy. This is how, when it comes about Rohingya issue, I hope you have better knowledge on Rohingya issue. The Rohingya people are facing same discrimination as before. Even now in Rakhine, those people living in Rakhine are facing the same discrimination. So we must transform it through social cohesive dialogue. We must live from our brainwash mindset of the government to live peacefully and to exist peacefully. When it comes about peaceful coexistence, many cannot, but to solve the issue of Rohingya, in the same way we must coexist peacefully through the mindset of positiveness toward each community and each other. So my message is that we all the people know about it. So we need to understand. We need to understand the political situations. We need to understand the environmental situations. Same. So if the public people are living in united, and if the public people are united and living in peacefully, then there would be no, we can achieve peace and justice easily. There will be no discrimination, no crimes. So it is very necessary for me to say that peaceful coexistence comes from peaceful and peace understanding. We must understand peace so we can live peacefully. In the same way, when it comes about transformation, without transformation, we cannot achieve justice, neither justice nor peace. So to transform it, we must educate, we must empower. We must go door by door, door to door, visit and empower and aware them about it so that we can achieve it. As Dr. Sanghamitra, who is from India, already told that when we are living over 1.6 billion people in India, so how can we visit door to door? There's also a question. So we must focus on building teams for doing this so that the South Asia can live peacefully. If we work collectively, so we can make change. So to change, we must work collectively. We must work hard. Following my award, Youth Leadership for Kindness, I'll go. This is how, when it comes, they told me that they have a principle, that is, we must use kind and kindness in our leadership and business. This is how. Then I told, we must do it. Be in calm and build in team. If you are kind to others, your team will be kind to others. So in the same way, if you share your perspective kindly to anyone, they will receive it, they will accept it. So for peaceful coexistence and transformation, and justice to sub-justice, we must need, for the mental peaceness, we must promote a sport in South Asia so that we can live in harmony, we can live in peace. The second is, we must know the principle of every human right we deserve and we know. As the Rohingya crisis has been long and been going, but no solution is coming. So we are planning to sit on table to discuss. So in the same way, if we want peace, we must sit on the table, talk with each other. To transform and rethinking the diversity, we must rethink the diverse community. We must focus on, as Dr. Sanghamitra mentioned, there's many different faithful community, religious people. If you are Hindu, you cannot hate Muslim. If you are Muslim, you cannot hate Hindu, as they are doing their religious job and you are doing yours. So if we want peace, we need to rethink the diverse community positively so that we can achieve peace and justice. My message is that we must focus on mindset shift rather than negative action. When you shift your mindset positively towards everything, what the result and the outcome will be positive. Over the past few decades, there are peoples in Myanmar who are still unknown about the Rohingya and the Rohingya issue. Through online connection, social connection, we share our story. We let them know about our community, and the bonding between us becomes such a peaceful bonding that we have never even imagined. So we need to share them kindly and shift our mindset positively so that we can live in peacefully in South Asia. Thank you. Thank you, SARIM. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, for such an inspiring insight, and you obviously have been working with people on the ground. So your message and the reflections were really are really significant. So I mean, I would like to ask a question, since we have Professor Dr. Rana Eijaz with us. So we would like to capitalize this moment and ask this question. I mean, sir, don't you think that the word tolerance itself is sort of a discriminatory? So don't you think that it's been almost like 78 years since we've got our independence? We were colonized, right? So don't you think it's a time to decolonize this word itself, uh, rather than I mean, rather than using tolerance, why don't we use the word acceptance, right? For communities like these, for the communities that Maung Shah is representing, for the communities that Dr. Sanghamitra is representing. So as an academician and a scholar, what would be your take on decolonizing terminologies like these that we have inherited being colonized by the Britishers?
Yes, to an extent, as far as the recolonization is concerned, as I earlier mentioned, the word elite capture, that they are definitely trying to uh, monopolize all the economic resources in the country and want to keep people under their control. That is all quite obvious. But as far as acceptance is concerned, I don't think so, that acceptance is there in the society. For example, if there was an acceptance, the results of general election 2024 on 8th of February would not be like that, if you believe that if the people have accepted that gross infringement of law on the part of the ruling elite. They didn't. But it is what I understand, it is a tolerance on their part, that if they are not making such protests which happened recently in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. And in political science there's a term, demonstration effect. So if Pakistani people were not, taking that example from both countries, and still they are calm and trying to reevaluate regarding their internal political instability, that is not going to the people, that is going to that grabbing of economic resources by the elite class. And when they are grabbing all those resources, they are, I would say that, trying to manage that how they can live in this country peacefully. This is what I could understand, but they are criticizing, the institutions. You would never have heard it before. I mean, 2 decades back, you can't imagine that anybody is criticizing as much to such institutions which are still even considered as sacred cows, in Pakistan. But still, I believe that people are brave enough, and they are really making a roar at social media, at least, and they are they're really making a difference in the community of nations as far as their opinion is concerned. What I understand, that the results of the 2024 general elections were really an example for all other peoples of the world, where establishment is considered very strong. Pakistan was the first country ever in the history of the Committee of Nations that gave vote against establishment. Well, it is another story that we could not sustain that rule, and they captured it, obviously, forcefully. That is another story. And then Trump won election in America. Again, people started saying that it is America that is really cast vote against establishment. No, I believe it was Pakistan first, because it was 8th of February 2024. So what I understand, as far as the concept of recolonization is concerned, yes, I agree to an extent with you. But I don't think so that Pakistani people have accepted that, the act of the uniformed people in Pakistan, that how they are controlling them. This is what my stance is on it. But I would like to add here, if you allow me, the previous two people were talking about, especially regarding minority and the authority. What I understand, that it is not the case of minority as far as justice is concerned, as far as authority is concerned. What I understand, that it is the authority that matters. For example, if there is a principal of a college in Lahore, in the school of Saint Anthony, that is a Christian school, the principal is always a Christian in Saint Anthony, you know that. So majority of students are there, they belong to Muslim people, So if they start saying that our sons or our daughters are used to wake up at 9 o'clock and you're supposed to open your school at 9 o'clock, it is not possible. They would throw them out. They would say that the school starts at 7 or 8 or whatever the time they fix. They would definitely make them disciplined. So it means it is authority that matters. It is not the case of minority or any caste or other things. What I understand that tolerance is a state of mind that unless you believe that you can accept the opinion of others, uh, you know it's all about your grooming, all about your comprehension about others, because empathy is the ingredient for understanding that tolerance. If you don't have that empathy, I mean, empathy means that if you are not trying to get yourself in the position of that person about whom you are going to take any decision, about whom you are going to comment anything, you need to go at his place and think that how he is feeling or she is feeling, and what is the perspective of that person who is commenting like that or saying that or protesting, whatever. So their perspective would definitely make you clear that what is the problem. When you become clear about the problem or the issue, obviously you would be in a better position to say something that is, I would say, you may call it a tolerance, that well, you are tolerant enough that you are taking that viewpoint in that way. Otherwise, obviously, you are reacting, you are responding to the situation, and that may be, sometimes making a conflict, the violent conflict, extremism, maybe, so whatever you name it. But being a human being, what I understand, that tolerance is directly relevant with a human mind, and of that his grooming that he already has from his social milieu. It is not the education, especially the contemporary world's education has nothing given to us but terrorism, extremism, uh, Islamophobia, racism. So all such kinds of negativities comes from the Western world, which are considered having top schools of education like Ivy Leagues and Harvard, like the University of Pennsylvania is there in America, and then in UK there's Oxford and Cambridge, and there are certain other high level of schools which are considered very much respectable in the world. But still, in those societies, Islamophobia and racism is at the top. And how one can say that it is education only that can make other people tolerant? I don't think so. I believe it is a human actor or human mind that make anyone tolerant, and it is your personal self introspection that keep you in that loop, that you listen others and show patience, even having a diversity of opinion. And you cannot deny that diversity doesn't mean that only ethnic diversity or religious diversity. No, not at all. For example, if in a home 5 people are living and they 5 belong to the same family, but still they are diversified in their opinions, in their actions, still from the same mother or father, they are sharing the same DNA, but still they are diversified. So diversity is always there. You cannot say that it is India that is very much diversified with a big population. China having the largest population in the world, but still it is a big economy. So what I mean to say, my point is that tolerance or endurance or patience or peace or all such positivities are embedded in human beings, and they're supposed to have it in their surroundings, instead of we may say that it is others, or we cannot pass bucks upon others, but it is we who makes a difference. Hope I answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for such a detailed response with the questions of tolerance versus acceptance. And yeah, you said it right. So I just want to add something here, that there's a rule called the golden rule, which I was taught by my professor from Spain. He said, accept others as you want to be accepted, treat others as you want to be treated, and greet others as you want to be greeted, or tolerate others as you want to be tolerated. So on this note, we would like to conclude our session today, and let's pause to reflect. Tolerance through essential cannot be our final destination. It must evolve into empathy. You said it right. Equity and justice itself. Values that empower, societies to move beyond coexistence and toward collective flourishing or collective actions. So today's dialogue has reminded us that transformation begins with courage, the courage of people like Mr. Shah, Dr. Sanghamitra, and yourself through academics approach to listen, to unlearn, and to stand up for what is just. So on behalf of South Asia Research Institute for Minorities, once again, we are truly grateful to our speakers, participants, and collaborators who make this session possible. Thank you so much. And on this note, I would like to say goodbye to you. And keep subscribing, keep watching our videos, and sharing this insightful discussion within your networks. Thank you, sir.